Şu an herkes kendi ekranından paylaşım yapabiliyor.
Merhaba hocam. Merhaba, hoş geldiniz. Hi dear Tom.
Ya, merhaba.
Merhaba. How are you?
İyiyim.
Hello dear Tom.
O Ayşe hocam da geldi. Hocam hoş geldiniz.
Hoş bulduk. Hoş bulduk.
Hello.
Hüseyin hocam hoş geldiniz. Welcome to again.
Hoş bulduk Mustafa Hocam. Hayırlı uğurlu olsun.
Sağ olun hocam. Çok teşekkür ederim hocam. Hocam sizi görmek ne büyük mutluluk.
Bizim de aynı şekilde sizleri görmek ne büyük mutluluk.
Sağ olun hocam.
Ediyorum.
Hocam 93 meteoroloji mezunu belki hatırlarsınız.
Evet, evet.
Sağ olun hocam. Welcome Ludmila. Your phone is closed. O Şükrü hocam da geldi. O welcome dear Luis.
Hello.
Now do you hear me?
You're welcome guys also. Thank you for your
Thank you. Nice to see you. All in good health.
This is our pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for supper. Şükrü hocam isterseniz siz yönetimi alın. Ben şimdi bu yayını canlı yayın olarak da sunacağım. Evet, Ayşe hocam hoş geldiniz.
Teşekkür ediyorum Mustafa Hocam.
Sağ olun hocam.
Dear participant, we are going to start our session. First of all, I would like to say welcome. It is very nice to see, maybe on computer, but not a problem. We are going to talk about sustainable world, effect of the pandemic virus, COVID-19. I hope we can some solution from our comments. Our committee said about me, I would like to give my presentation in Turkish. Maybe more people can follow it. But my presentation also in English presented in PowerPoint slides. Some other people can follow it. Mustafa Hocam, nereden paylaşıyoruz ekranı?
Hocam yeşil bir düğme çıkacak şimdi hocam. Şu an çıkmış olması lazım altta.
Evet.
Evet. Share screen. Okay.
Our session, myself, Şükrü Dursun, Professor Ludmila Sumashko from Ukraine, Professor Rosario from Portugal, and Jill Patrick from USA, and Professor Nagar Baudi from India. First of all, I would like to give my presentation. Effect of pandemic COVID-19 on air quality in Turkey. We researched some solution for this. Koronavirüs problemiyle Türkiye'de meydana gelen hava kalitesiyle ilgili bazı değişimleri Hüseyin Toros hocamla birlikte inceledik. Verileri Çevre Bakanlığı, Çevre ve Şehircilik Bakanlığı'nın hazırlamış olduğu webten temin ederek uygun programlarla bu veriler üzerinde bazı çalışmalar yaptık ve Türkiye'de herhangi bir hava kalitesi değişimi var mı? veya da bunun etkisi nedir? Bunları araştırmaya çalıştık. Giriş olarak söyleyecek olursak nüfusumuz dünyada genel olarak hızlı bir şekilde artmakta. Artan nüfus artışı da çevre problemlerini meydana getirmektedir. Özellikle insanların tarımsal alanları ya da mera alanlarını ziraat alanları işgal etmeleri, buraları bunların dışarısında, amacı dışında kullanmaları çevreyle ilgili en önemli etkenlerden bir tanesidir. Yine özellikle insanların doğal olmayan vahşi hayvanlarla temasında da yine hastalıkların yayılmasında önemli problemler ortaya çıkmaktadır. Biyolojik bozulma özellikle hayvan kökenli hastalıkların yayılmasında yine önemli bir etkendir. Sürdürülebilir bir kalkınma, sürdürülebilir bir çalışma için virüse karşı ya da hastalıklara karşı, bulaşıcı hastalıklara karşı korunma için yapacağımız çalışmalarda bazı kazanımlar elde edilmesi sağlanır. Bununla ilgili Türkiye'de yapılan tedbirler virüsün azaltılmasıyla ilgili, yayılmasının azaltılmasıyla ilgili fayda sağlanmıştır. Temel olarak virüsün Çin'in Wuhan kentinden bir hayvan marketinden ya da kasaplardan yayıldığı düşünülmektedir. Bununla ilgili tez daha çok revaç görmektedir. Ve diğer virüs hastalıklarına karşı ya da bulaşıcı hastalıklara karşı bu virüsün yayılma hızının çok yüksek olduğu görülmüştür. Oysa ki dünyada sağlıkla ilgili yapılmış çalışmalar, yine tedbirler, ilaçlar, tedavi yöntemleri çok gelişmesine rağmen ülkelerin bununla mücadelede çok yetersiz kaldığı görülmüştür. Bundan sonraki virüs benzeri salgınlarda da benzeri sıkıntıların yaşanacağı söylenebilir. Hatta son günlerde Çin'de ikinci bir yaygın salgın meydana geldiği söylenmekte. Bunda da COVID-19'dan daha etkili olduğu, mücadelesinin belki biraz daha sıkıntılı olacağı görülmektedir. Tabii salgının önlenmesiyle ilgili alınan tedbirlerin bazen başka yönlerden faydalı yönleri de ortaya çıkmaktadır. Türkiye'de enfeksiyonların ortaya çıkmasıyla birlikte bazı önlemler alınmaya başlanmış. Bu önlemler içerisinde özellikle Mart ortasında bütün okullarda eğitim durdurulmuş. Daha sonra bunlar online eğitim şeklinde, uzaktan eğitim şeklinde devam ettirilmeye başlanmıştır. Özellikle toplu ibadetlerin yapıldığı camiler gibi alanlarda ibadetlerin yapılması yine durdurulmuş. Yakın bir zamana kadar, 2 hafta öncesine kadar yine kısıtlı bir şekilde ibadetlerin yapılmasına başlanmıştı. Özellikle büyük şehirlerde, 10 büyük şehirde ve bunlara ilave olarak Zonguldak ilinde bazı tedbirler alınması sağlanmış. Bu tedbirlerle şehre giriş çıkışlar ve buradaki bazı aktiviteler, özellikle hafta sonu dışarı çıkma yasakları gibi uygulamalarla bu virüsün yayılmasında azalma sağlanması arzu edilmiştir. Yine virüsün yayılmasında problem oluşturabilecek 65 yaş üzeri hassas olan insanların ve hastalığın yayıldığı ya da bulaştığı belli olmayan ve yayıcı özelliği olabileceği düşünülen 20 yaş altındaki insanların tamamen sokağa çıkması engellenmiştir özel şartlar dışarısında. Hafta sonları yine bu büyük şehirlerde bütün yaş grupları için sınırlama getirilmiş. Türkiye'den yurt dışına ticari amaçlı ve ticari amaçlı uçak seferleri yine durdurularak yayılmanın engellenmesine çalışılmıştır. Ve biz burada Türkiye'de alınan bu tedbirlerin acaba ne kadar etkili olduğu, hava kirliliği konusunda ne gibi değişiklikler meydana geldiğini incelemeye çalıştık. Çalışmada 2018'den itibaren başlayarak Mayıs ortalarına kadar çalışmanın yapıldığı dönem içerisinde veriler toplandı. Bu veriler içerisinde partikül madde 10 mikrometre ve altı, partikül madde 2,5 mikrometre ve altı, azot dioksit, karbon monoksit, ozon ve kükürt dioksit değerlerine bakılmış. Birinci periyotta tedbirlerin alınmadan önceki dönemler ve tedbirlerin alındıktan sonraki dönemler ikinci dönem olarak kabul edilmiş. Bu ikisi arasında karşılaştırma yapılmıştır. Yine özellikle geçmiş yıllara ait tedbirlerin alındığı dönemdeki azalmanın acaba başka sebeplerden mi meydana geldiğini de görebilmek için 2018 ve 2019 yıllarındaki datalarda incelenerek verilerin gerçekten alınan tedbirlerle meydana gelip gelmediği araştırılmaya çalışılmıştır. Burada R-program ismi verilen bir özel istatistik programı kullanılarak verilerin üretilmesi ve değerlendirilmesi işlemi yapılmıştır. Çalışma alanına baktığımız zaman Türkiye'nin büyük bir nüfusunun yaşamış olduğu iller ve bunun içerisinde Zonguldak büyükşehir statüsünde olmadığı halde bu çalışma içerisine almıştır. Burada Mersin'le ilgili verilerde bazı sıkıntılar olduğu için bazı çalışmalarda eksik veriler olduğu için Mersin ilinde bazı değerler kullanılmamıştır. Bu ayın ilk haftası itibariyle 12 Haziran itibariyle Avrupa'nın birçok ülkesi, Afrika ve Asya'nın bazı ülkelerinde görülen vaka sayıları ile ilgili yoğunluklar bu haritada görülmekte. Burada ise yine aynı tarihte Türkiye'de özellikle İstanbul, İzmir ve Ankara'nın 10 gün önceki değerleri bunlar. Değerlerin 2500 ve üzerinde olduğunu görebiliyoruz. Bu haritada da dünkü aldığımız bir değer bu da. Bu değerlerde de görüldüğü gibi verilerde gerçekten iyileşmeye yönelik bir çalışma var. Yine İstanbul, Ankara ve İzmir illerinin değerlerinde yüksek olduğu, yine bazı illerde de bunlara yakın değerler olmasına rağmen sayıların 2500'ün altına düştüğü gözlenmektedir. İller bazında büyük şehirlerden Ankara, İstanbul ve özellikle Kocaeli ile ilgili bazı değerler burada vermek istiyorum. Bakıldığı zaman İstanbul ilinde özellikle Mart ayının 15'i itibariyle yapılan şeylerde bir azalmanın olduğu, daha sonra bazı tedbirsizlikler ya da yoğunluklar ya da özel durumlar sebebiyle biraz partikül maddede azalma, artma meydana geldiği, yine normal seviyelerine geldiğini görebiliyoruz. Azot oksitlerde bariz bir azalma meydana geliyor. Özellikle karbon monoksit, biz biliyoruz ki karbon monoksit kökenli olarak araçların egzozlarından çıkan bir kirletici vasfı var. Bu yüzden azot oksit değerlerinde bariz bir azalmayı gözleyebiliyoruz. Partikül madde 2,5 için, 2 mikrometre boyutunda için yine bu görülen azalma seviyelerini yine araçların egzozlarından çıkan emisyon kaynakları olarak verebiliriz. Ozon biraz farklı bir seyir gösteriyor. Maalesef ozon diğer kirleticilere göre aslında bir hava kirleticisi olarak kabul edilmesine rağmen sağlık açısından önemli bir etki meydana getirmesine bakımından diğer kirleticiler, işte fosil yakıtların tüketimiyle ilgili kaynaklar meydana gelmesine karşılık buradaki ozonun meydana gelmesi, havanın açık olması, havanın temiz olması, güneş ışınlarının oksijeni parçalayarak ozonu üretmesine sebep olmaktadır. Özellikle gün içerisinde de ölçüldüğü zaman özellikle öğle saatleri ve öğle saatlerinden hemen sonraki saatler içerisinde 24 saat içerisinde en yüksek değerler görülüyor. Böylelikle havanın temizlenmesi, daha temiz hale gelmesi, ozon konsantrasyonu yani güneşin doğrudan doğruya yer seviyesine kadar ulaşmasına sebep olmuş. Kükürt dioksit için ise bariz bir azalmanın olduğu gözlenebilir. Ankara'da da yine benzer azalmalar özellikle azot oksitlerde, karbon monoksitte, kükürt dioksitte ve partikül madde 2,5 ile ilgili biraz dalgalanma meydana gelse bile yine benzer değerleri görülürken ozon konsantrasyonda bariz bir artışın görüldüğü, havanın o dönem içerisinde temizlendiğini gösterebilir. Kocaeli için baktığımız zaman partikül madde değerlerinde belki PM10 için çok şey gösteremiyoruz. Burada da en büyük etken belki de o bölgenin İstanbul'a yakın olması, yine bağlantı yolları üzerinde bulunması, PM2,5 ve PM10'un büyük çoğunlukla araç egzozlarında kaynaklanan kirletici olarak görebiliyoruz. Aslında azot oksitlerinde böyle özellikle olmasına rağmen azot oksitlerin azalması gayet açık bir şekilde görülüyor. Karbon monoksit ve kükürt dioksitte de bariz azalmaları gözleyebiliyoruz. Tam bunun tersine ozon konsantrasyonunda ise oldukça iyi bir artış gözlenebiliyor. Türkiye geneline baktığımız zaman Türkiye genelinde partikül madde azalmasında %60'lara varabilen bir azalma dönem içerisinde. Birinci dönem yani tedbirlerin alınmasından önce ve tedbirlerin alınmasından sonraki dönemde %60'lara varan bir azalma aslında çok güzel bir değer. PM2,5 için burada tek özel bir durum İzmir ilinde bir farklı bir durum görülüyor. Partikül madde 2,5 değeri çok küçük. Partikül maddeler bunlar havada meydana gelen bazı özel şeylerle de şartlarla da meydana gelebiliyor. Bunun araştırılması gerekiyor. Diğer illerde yine %70'lere varabilen özellikle Sivas gibi Ankara gibi illerde oldukça önemli azalmalar meydana geliyoruz. Karbon monoksitle ilgili 3 ilimizde tersine bir değer olsa bile yine 30 ilin büyük bir çoğunluğunda %80'lere varabilen bir azalmayı gözlemişiz. Azot monoksit için sadece bir ilimizde bir yükselme görülüyor. Yine bunun da araştırılması gereken bir durum. Ozon konsantrasyonunda ise değerlerindeki azalmaya karşılık %80'ler Konya'da, yine Ankara, İstanbul, İzmir gibi alanlarda %80'in üzerinde, %90'lara yakın bir ozon konsantrasyonunda artış, yani havanın berraklaştığı, açıldığı, temizlendiği söylenebilir. Kükürt dioksit değerlerini daha çok biz fosil yakıt kaynaklarından, bir de özel emisyon çeşidi olan petrol rafinerilerinin çalışmaları veya buna benzer bazı özel şeylerden kaynaklandığı söylenebilir. Balıkesir ili, Adana ve Sinop ilinde yükselme gözlense bile büyük çoğunlukla yine kükürt dioksit konsantrasyonunda da bir azalma meydana geldiğini söyleyebiliriz. Böylelikle Türkiye nüfusunun büyük bir çoğunluğunun yapıldığı 30 il incelenmiş ve bu enfeksiyon sebebiyle alınan tedbirlerle yapılan kısıtlamalar göz önünde bulundurularak çalışma yapılmış. Tedbirler neticesinde elde edilen iyileşmenin devam etmesi arzu ediliyor. Yani bu tedbirlerin belki sürekli olarak alınması mümkün değil ama burada yine bir azalmanın meydana gelebileceği tedbirlerle yapılan bazı çalışmaların yapılabilecek çalışmaların belki devam ettirilerek bunların azalması yönünde bir çalışma yapılabilir. Ve elde edilen bu iyileşmenin sürdürülebilir bir çevre için devamı önemli bir faktör. Gelecek için yapılabilecek bazı alınabilecek tedbirlerle ilgili şeyler söylemek istenirse, hava kirliliği ve iklim değişikliği çok önemli bir problem. Bunun üzerinde çalışılırken tabii birçok faktöre dikkat etmek lazım. Sadece emisyon kaynakları değil, aynı zamanda başka faktörler de işin içerisine giriyor. Biz bunu biliyoruz. Çünkü kış ayında sürekli olarak aynı yakıt miktarı tüketilmesine rağmen bazı günlerde, hatta bazı saatlerde çok yüksek hava kirliliği değerlerine ulaşması atmosferik şartlarda meydana gelen faktörlerin etkisiyle kirliliğin yayılmamasına dayanan etkiler olabilir ya da bunun gibi diğer faktörler. Bu yüzden bunların araştırılması ve gerçek sebeplerinin iyi tespit edilmesi gerekiyor. Elde edilen tedbirlerle kazanılmış çalışmalarda hava kirliliği ile ilgili standartların artırılarak daha iyi bir yaşam ya da sürdürülebilir bir çevre ortamının oluşturulması sağlanması gerekiyor. Elde ettiğimiz kazanımların iklim değişikliği ile ilgili yapılacak çalışmalarda nasıl bir etki göstereceği çalışılmalı ve bununla ilgili gerekli tartışmalar yapılmalıdır. Elde edilen kazanımlar devam ettirilmeli ve bizim bu konudaki yaptığımız çalışmalar dünya genelinde benzer çalışmalarla desteklenerek sürdürülebilir bir çevre için bizim çabamız devam etmesi gerekmektedir. Verileri temin ettiğimiz çevre ve Şehircilik Bakanlığı'na teşekkür ediyoruz. Dinlediğiniz için sizlere de teşekkür ediyorum.
Thank you very much. Teşekkür.
Second presentation will be from Professor Ludmila Sumashko. Are you ready, Ludmila?
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Dear friends, I'm very glad to see you all in good health. Now, just a moment, I will try to open my presentation. But I can't because Professor Shukru using his own presentation. I don't know why. What I need to do.
Şükrü Hocam, share screen'i kapatabilir misiniz?
Maybe Professor need to close his presentation, his window.
Hocam altta stop share yapabilir misiniz Şükrü Hocam? Kırmızı düğme var hocam. Üstte pardon hocam. Üst tarafta hocam.
Mustafa, I can't.
Yes, I'm going to stop it.
Stop.
Sorry about it.
Oh, no
Thank you.
problem.
Hocam share screen yukarıda. Onu kapatabilir misiniz? Share screen.
Okay.
Yes, Ludmila, go on please.
I can't use. Yes.
Kapandı mı?
Now. Okay. Hello, dear colleagues. Today we will speak about. Do you see my presentation? I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's okay. Okay. Today we will speak about food security research and not only about this, also about ecological and social aspects. So, food security is associated with the social determination and determinants of health, which are the condition in which people are born, grow, live, work, and so on. Food security in the context of social determinants of health is interconnected with population growth, political instability, economic development, urbanization, migration, agricultural policy, and environmental factors such as land use and climate change. At the same time, food security is one of the important factors that can determine nutritional outcomes. Other such factors include also educational level, gender equality, resources allocated to national policies. And antibiotic resistance microorganisms in agriculture production system and the food chain are major public health challenges. So one of the most used index for estimation of food security is food security index. And for example, in general rating, Ukraine was ranked on 63rd among 130 countries, having scored 55 points. For example, Italy, 23 place, and Turkey on 31 place. So situation in Turkey better than in Ukraine. And several factors influence on the food security of the country. First of all, its production volumes, weather conditions, geographical location, and others, including even corruption. So in 2012, the Economist Intelligence Unit introduced the Global Food Security Index, which until recently consisted only of three main parameters: quality, safety, and financial and physical accessibility of food. And last year, the four parameters was added: natural resources and sustainability. The World Health Organization has identified antibiotic resistance as a serious threat for human health across the world. And if you speak about food security, so we need to say that soils to providing for humanity with practically 99% of its food. And the soil microbiome plays an important role in development and the spread of antibiotic resistance in humans. There are many scientific studies in this field, and many of them are were done by women scientists. And so one of the biggest sources of antibiotic resistance microorganisms is modern agroecosystems. For example, if we will analyze how will spread antibiotic resistance, World Health Organization determined that by 2050, globally will be more deaths from resistance bacteria than from cancer. For example, it could be near 10 millions and from cancer near 8 millions. But I think that the situation could change because those data were before this situation with coronavirus. So aims of the contribution was to estimate food security in different type of agroecosystem in Ukraine and how people, how food security can change health and how can change also environment, how environment impact on food security, and also we have some aspects of regendering in science. So gender and the age of scientists involved in this field. For the study, they using standard methods, microbiological methods, and also we used the statistical data. As you can see, we determined functional diversity in agroecosystems of different agricultural plants, and we determined such ecological trophic groups like micromycetes, aminificators, oligotrophs, pedotrophs, bacteria diffusing mineral nitrogen, and also nitrogen-fixing bacteria. From this data, you can see that soil microbiome has specific structure what depends from depends from plant species. So the most favorable condition were in the agroecosystem with Capsicum annuum for soil microbiome and Petracillium crispum. And next, our step was to determine antibiotic resistance bacteria in those agroecosystems. And as you can see from this table that agroecosystems with Vitis vinifera and Rubus characterized the high number of antibiotic resistance bacteria. So please wash all berries before eating. And from the agroecosystem of Capsicum annuum, we isolated only 4 antibiotic resistant strains. Enterococcus faecalis, Yersinia enterocolitica, Bacillus cereus, Bacillus megatherium, and from the agroecosystem of Petracillium crispum, Bacillus megatherium, Lecheniformis, Hafnia alveoli, Bacillus cereus, and Enterococcus faecalis. But all of those microorganisms are pathogenic or conditionally pathogenic for human health. About gender problems in Ukraine, I mean gender problems in scientific area, how women scientists are involved in in different investigations. So according to the study, only 49% of Ukrainians believe that men and women should be equally involved in professional activities. And if we will compare results of statistical data, in Ukraine, the rate of women involved in science only 45%. This is 12th place in the ranking, which includes 41 countries. But only 28% of women scientists are involved in research in the agricultural sectors, and age of majority it's near 70%, more than 45 years. So that shows that there is a gap between men and women participation in scientific studies on this field, and also necessity to support young scientists in this area. About gender imbalance in agrarian science, it's very interesting. We decided to compare female and male statistics in Agrarian Academy of Science in Ukraine. So Agrarian Academy divided in 6 main branches. In agriculture, land reclamation and mechanization involved only 32%, plant growing only 28%, zootechnics 21%, veterinary and medicine 33%, agrarian economy and food 39%. And the higher percent was in scientific support for innovative development. About conclusion and maybe like some recommendations. The risk of antibiotic resistance exposure via products should be best be managed by ensuring that practices designed to protect bioproduction from contamination with pathogenic microorganisms, especially for today, for now, this situation. In Ukraine, exists gender imbalance in science. Only 28% of women scientists are involved in research in agricultural sector, and the age of the majority, 67%, more than 45 years. Statistical data shows that there is a gap between men and women participation in scientific studies in this field, I mean food security. And one of the main tasks of Ministry of Education and Science in Ukraine to provide gender equality in science on all levels. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have some questions, I will be glad to answer.
Dear Ludmila, thank you very much for your presentation. I think it is
Very
better
much.
to leave discussion end of the session, and after the finishing all presenter, we can make the discussion together. Yes, term is Professor Rosario from Portugal.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome.
Welcome. Okay. Thank you so much. It's a big pleasure to be here with this panel, and
pleasure.
also to be part of the Imascon Congress. And also, it's so nice to be that all of the colleagues are in good health, and that is the most important part of the scene. So I have one little presentation to show you. I came from Portugal and from a school of engineering. In fact, I am a mechanical engineer, and maybe it's better to share my presentation. Okay, and I'm going to talk a little about a few examples and on this pandemic period, the role of higher education institutions in this, the social part of our institutions. It's very important. So I would like to share to you some EPI, some protective equipment that we have developed in this period, and the idea. Sorry. the idea is that as all around the world, I think it was the same problem. The emergency of the lack of technical resources and for the personnel, particularly for medical people, it was a very big problem. And these type of equipments are the primary protection equipment. We can talk at the beginning about masks and the face shield. And the question is what could universities and in particular the schools of engineering can do. Many universities and institutions all around the world, as ISEC also acted with social awareness. I show you the first prototype, first product that we have developed. It's the face shield. All around the world, I think every university had developed one. This is our face shield. The starting with an idea. The first prototype we can see here is open on the upper side, but that is not the best way because all the particles can go from up and came to the eyes and the nose, so it's not the best solution. And we have developed it after the final prototype with glasses included. They can be separated or not. And from these, the production, and we talk about the sustainability in production. So in engineering, and particularly in the production engineering, the optimization of the production, it's very important. And it's a big contribution for the environmental conditions. With the 3D production like this, call it the printing 3D printers, we can optimize the material to be used, also the type of material to be used in different conditions. And I think that on this way, even the time to get the product, it's long. It's more long than the normal one. We can avoid a lot of contribution for pollution in the society. This is some of the problems that we have but finally this is the final project. Is closed on the upper side, but can be also open for the air for a better circulation of the air if the person wants it. And the optimization of production that I have told you in order to get the less of material necessary to be used. And also the contribution, this is the team supervised to produce all the face shields in the lab. And we have prepared in the school thousands and thousands of face shields for hospitals, also for institutions that work with elderly people, other types of institutions like schools and so on. And we can see here the production, the process of productions in the distribution also. And here one example of a doctor, in this case is a dentist using the face shield. They don't have face shield at that moment to buy anywhere. It was not available to buy and to be used. So it was a very important contribution. The role of the higher education in this, our institution in this field. And the product take the attention of the ministers. To me, we can see in this image, two ministers from the government visiting our lab to see the production of the face shields. Also an important role of the institution. And after this project, we take part on a consortium with a company to develop the project LAPI. It means that what about all professionals who have to wear glasses, magnificent glasses, or just glasses? The normal face shield take a pressure on this part of the head and can be a contribution for some type of distractions. So can we help to avoid this situation? And this is the Loopy project, a consortium with the Quitus company, a Portuguese company. And we have developed this system to be placed in the glasses. This is the first draft of the project. And the final project. All of this is prepared with 3D printing and with PETG material. Here we can see a single video of the project. The system also have the light in the upper side of the project. Is the concept. It's very simple, very easy. Take more 55 grams on height, no more. So it's very important also for the doctors, this system. And the final product. Now the company is selling the product for different type of hospitals and doctors who needs to use this system. One important thing, the light. The light is on the exterior part of the face shield. So the illumination is much better than the normal face shield that are normally used. And finally, I want to show you talk you about the project Open Air. It's a project who bring scientists from all around the world, mainly Portuguese scientists, in order to develop an artificial ventilator. And in ISEC, we take part on the project, and for an independent validation, a group of teachers and technicians built one unit. Some technical modifications have been made from the original project. And this unit, if it will be necessary, can be used in the real context, in the emergency context. But it's also very important because this project, as the others that I showed to you, takes students to participate on the development. And that is very important. And this project also can be used in future project working for biomedical engineering students, mechanics, electrotechnics, bioengineering, and also physicians and mathematics students. Here we can see some images about the project, and finally a little video to show you the system working. You can see that all the ventilation system can work well and can be adjusted. It's not a condensing system, it's a big system, but in emergency cases can be used, of course. As the final remarks, we can say that in higher education institutions have an important role in today's society, particularly in terms of training of their students and the involvement of the students and also the institution in the social context. The recent events due to COVID have shown a set of weaknesses associated with the development, the production, and the accessibility of the security devices. The countries, and this is for all the countries, must be able and must advance in the development and autonomous production of these devices with real technology transfer. And here the institutions, the IGER institutions have an important role with this technology transfer. And also, but very important, the involvement of students in these processes is essential and allows the acquisition of important skills. Okay, this is what I wanted to show you. It's about some practical cases that we have developed here and put it working, and we talk about the when we are inside an IGER school with students from IGER school, we need to make the students be inside this type of projects, and the role of the IGER institutions in the society now show that it's very important and must be taken in attention with the governments. Normally the fundings for research, the fundings for teaching well, etc. They are important things to be placed in the diary. It's all that I want to show you.
Thank you very much, Professor
Thank you.
Ruiz Nazario. It was a very nice presentation. Now we are going to the next speech from USA, Professor Jill Patrico. Are you there?
I am here, yes, and
Nice to meet you. Welcome.
it's a pleasure to see you. Would have been nice if we were all in Turkey now, but next time, perhaps. I need to apologize a bit. I didn't prepare slides. When I was thinking panel, I thought we would be discussing, but so I can.
It doesn't matter. Carry on, please.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
doesn't
And I'm happy to send slides later if that's something that would be useful for anyone. So I am a professor of marketing here in the United States, and my focus is largely on food industry and retail industries. And the topic was the impact of COVID on sustainability. And so what I wanted to talk about or to share, particularly what's happening in America, is the impact of COVID on sustainability within the food industry and the food supply chain industry in America. And I think, you know, because we live in a global world, the effects go beyond. And I would be interested to learn more about how it was impacting everyone else. True. So when we talk about sustainability in business schools, we talk about the triple bottom line of sustainability. The impact of economics on sustainability, the impact on social aspects of sustainability, and the impacts on environmental aspects of sustainability. And certainly in the food industry, all of these areas have been impacted. They're all related to each other. But one of the things I would also like to maybe start off by saying is that I have been, and I think we all have been, hearing warnings of pandemic for many, many years. I think there's a video, a TED Talk by Bill Gates from maybe 15 years ago, warning about the impending problem of pandemic. And here in America, I think everyone was concerned about pandemics. It was on everyone's list, but it was down on the list. So it was something that was maybe a top 10 factor for many people, but given our daily lives and business and industry and government, you know, we work on the top couple items. So pandemic has been, in my view, pretty much ignored by the mainstream and not as much as it should have been. So in America, we've been unprepared politically, economically, in business and socially. So if the impacts of us, if I start and talk a little bit about economic impacts, the economic impacts are dramatic. There are 40 million Americans who are currently not working. That is a huge number, and some people may feel that that number is perhaps even understated to some levels. So economies and where that I work in retail has been devastated. Retail sales in May were down overall 40%. GDP on the first quarter of the year in America was down nearly 6%. And I expect it to be more for the current term. But the impacts on food systems are not even. So in an area that I work a lot, in the grocery business, selling food products through retail stores, life is good. In the grocery industry in America, right now, there are expected to be 1 million new jobs this year. 1 million new jobs. In the grocery part of this, maybe 300,000 managerial jobs are open today. So it's a good business if you're in grocery, a good business in terms of volume of business, but extra costs and profits are for many maybe another story, but unshared. If you're in the restaurant business in America, last year for the very first time, the restaurant business and the grocery business were roughly exactly the same relative to the economic impact. If you're in the restaurant business in America, today is not a good time, not like grocery. I've seen reports that, and it's hard to know exactly, but perhaps 40% or more of restaurants will go out of business. And today, in many places, restaurants are closed, focusing mostly on takeout or maybe outside dining as we move into summertime. And maybe in a number of places, including my city, beginning to open a little bit, but it's a very different world because of COVID. So economic impacts have been pretty substantial. And how we move forward, in where I live in the state of Oregon, which is on the west coast of the United States, our budgets are functions of income taxes largely, and income taxes and corporate taxes have gone down dramatically. So it'll have a ripple effect on everything that we do. If we look at, in an area that I study, consumer behavior for food, we also see some major differences in sort of consumer behavior and economics, how people are spending their budgets. So in times of economic stress, we find a lot of differences. We find that for discretionary items, people are holding off, not spending as much. For non-discretionary items like food, actually food sales are up dramatically, but the grocery channel is up 40%, as I said a moment ago. Within that, we see lots of differences in consumer behavior, much bigger emphasis on health, much bigger emphasis on produce if we can get it. There have been supply chain shortages that have been impacted by the pandemic. So a message that I would like to send for economics impact on food industry is there's winners and losers. If you're in the private label industry, last November, I was in Chicago and met with about a dozen Turkish companies some from your region that are interested in selling private label products in America. Well, private label products, really good market. Global sales, maybe more difficult today. So again, different impacts. Private label is up dramatically. It's part of a trend. As I said, health supplies, people are buying many more products, and supply chains have been impacted on this. Again, economic impact of COVID. So for example, in the United States, the meat processing industry, where you have meat plants with thousands of workers, have been COVID hotspots. There's been shortages of product. Meat prices have gone up dramatically. So it's changing consumer purchases of meat and what kinds of meat products, and then also changing how consumers look at meat. One of the big winners of this is plant-based meats. There's a new market for plant-based meats, which has been relatively slow growing. It has increased because of COVID. So the supply chain issues. In America, a lot of our produce is harvested with foreign workers. Because of travel restrictions, that's a problem in many markets, such as California or Arizona, which California produces about 50% of all of the produce food products in America. So economic impacts are substantial, that we're still learning about them. But again, a message that, as we try to understand this, I'm of the philosophy, whenever you have a crisis, there's opportunities as well as problems. And so there are opportunities here as well. A second aspect besides economics on sustainability is on social sustainability. And here COVID has really, I think, pulled the cover off of some of the social problems that we have in America. If we look at, records that I'm not proud of as an American, my understanding is that we have more COVID cases here than any nation in the earth today. We have nearly 120,000 people who have died from this, and about 2.5 million who have contracted the virus. Some of the social problems that have come from this with respect to sustainability and is that some of our population, particular minority population, has been adversely affected, as well as we all know, older people, which I'm becoming more and more sensitive to. It's hard for me to say that, but it's true. And what we find is one of the key factors which has influenced COVID is diet, obesity, morbidities are a major impact. And so we need to think about our system. In America, it showed that we have, again, a record I'm not proud of. We are the only industrialized country in the world that does not provide universal health care for its citizens. This is a big problem. And in America, for citizens that do have health care, the source of their health care is largely from their employer. Employers pay for health care if you are fortunate. And with the problem of 40 million people unemployed, that means not only are the traditional people without health care insurance suffering, but lots of people who have lost their jobs have also lost some access to health care. So we live in a very strange world where some health care is being stressed, overwhelmed, and in other forms of health care, it is actually a number of doctors' offices have closed. Hospitals are bleeding money because the procedures that they use to generate money is down. So The social sustainability, food banks in America. I have been on the board of a food bank here in Oregon. So there has been unprecedented demand from people looking for food support. I'm sure that's happening in other places. I've talked to friends in Turkey, and I understand that's an issue there as well. I was very interesting to hear the presentation by Ludmilla that showed the food security that America was relatively high. Unfortunately, while we may be high overall, again, the social aspects is that many people are suffering for lack of access of food, and particularly lack of access to quality food. So that has been a big factor with respect to social supply chain. How do we do this? And what we see is consumers looking at food in different ways than maybe they have looked at food before. So economic impact, so COVID's impact on sustainability, economic sustainability has been negative in a serious way. COVID's impact on social sustainability has been, I would say, quite negative, and showed a lot of the deficiencies in the American system for food and for health. And we could explore that in a lot more ways, but we have limited time. And the third area that I wanted to talk about, just impact on sustainability, is environmental sustainability. So again, we've seen from previous presentations with air quality and perhaps some other aspects that perhaps with environmental sustainability, the picture is more mixed. Air quality in my city here in Portland, which is a medium city of about 2 million people, is better, and I benefit from that. Environmental sustainability I'm concerned about, because when economic sustainability is tough, businesses sometimes relax standards for the environment. Certainly my government, my president and his administration has been actively relaxing environmental controls, which, you know, depending on how you look, is maybe problematic. On the other hand, so that may be an issue. And when people are suffering, I think people are, you know, looking at different alternatives. One of the things that we see happening here more, and I would rate this as a positive, more and more Americans are, because we are at home, or staying closer to home and not traveling as much, there's been a big increase in home production of food products, of home gardening, of community gardens, of local support, stronger interest among individuals in supporting local food system, local products, major branded products. So the environmental story is also perhaps mixed with some advantages. I guess what I would just like to say is that, in my opinion, the COVID has changed everything. I think it has kicked the economy, certainly for online economy, down the road 10 years with respect to food industry. It's happening. I see this happening in higher education as well. We've all been doing online. Now we're doing all online. So COVID has just pushed things along. And I really think this is an opportunity for all of us to rethink business models, to rethink consumer lifestyles, to rethink how we look at sustainability as a system, and how we in academia can work with our colleagues in industry and in government to think about making changes, designing systems. So for example, with, as I said, with the economy, in America, grocery food industry structure is completely separate or largely separate from food supply systems that supply restaurants. Restaurants are dying, grocery stores are living, but farmers who sell to into the restaurant channel are plowing crops under because there's no market. The dairy, pouring dairy milk products out because it's more costly to give it away because the supply chain has effect. So what can we learn? Well, what we can learn is supply chain is that we need to design more resilient supply chain systems. We need to design systems that are more resilient to change, that are more adaptable. We need to be able to integrate systems such as here in America, the grocery system, which is an $800 billion supply chain, with the restaurant, which is also, at least was, nearly an $800 billion industry here, to look for synergies. Look for synergies to provide better output for citizens, look for better business opportunities, and more resilience. So again, it sort of shows us as academics, as public policy influencers, and in business executives, what can we do to better prepare? Because this is not the last pandemic, unfortunately. We've been lucky. We've been lucky to avoid Ebola, Zika, and a list of other maladies. And as we look at supply chains, this whole COVID thing allegedly began in Wuhan in a wet market, in the transfer of the virus to humans, which is also showing a deficiency in the supply chain that we need to address. So I would just like to conclude with saying thank you for listening to me, and sorry for my lack of slides. But I think that the impact of COVID has been pervasive on food systems here in America and abroad. And I think I'm interested in studying three aspects of this. Impacts of technology in food. Some of the presentations we've seen today look at technology impacts. I'm interested in studying consumer behavior and how consumers are changing how we live and what that means. And I'm also interested in the impact of new business models because business is adapting and changing. Omnichannel, online is becoming greater. Technology everywhere, not to touch things, not to use money. We actually have a shortage of coins in America. Nobody wants to touch coins. So there's a shortage of coins. But with that, I will stop. I will say thank you very much for listening to me, and I would love to hear any comments.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Professor. It was a very nice speech, information about the situation in America. Maybe we can go discussion end of the session. Next presenter will be Professor Kamitovich, but he moved to another part. No, so last speech from India, Professor Nagar Baudi. Welcome, Nagar Baudi.
Please open microphone. Dear Mahbub, please. Yes.
Thank you,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. Welcome again, Mahbub.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
Can you hear me?
you.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And a very good afternoon to all the panelists and the participants of this webinar. Firstly, I congratulate this university director, chairman, coordinator of this webinar, and especially Mustafa for inviting me and initiating such kind of dialogue. Because we know that whenever there is a critical situation like COVID pandemic and the process to get established, then there are lots of queries in the minds of every faculty as well as the students. Rather than discussing it in informal way, to discuss it in a formal forum. I would like to thank the university for coordinating such kind of events. Friends, in India, when the lockdown was declared on 16th March at 8 p.m., the school, colleges, and educational institutions were at the peak of their teaching examinations. At the peak of their teaching, examination, and the academic activities. Our university, Savitribai Phule Pune University, it is in Maharashtra. Our exams were started. From 11th March, before the lockdown, our university theory examinations of all faculty have started. And almost all practical examinations have already completed before 11th March. And from 17th March onward, there is a complete lockdown, no exams, all is stalled. This COVID situation, in fact, emerged into three major developments in the education sector. First is transfer to next academic year by giving some relaxation of qualifying exam. Second, partial opening maintained by distancing. Third, emphasis on online mode of teaching. The first two situations are incidental and can be resolved with new arrangements. However, focusing on the online mode, we need to decide whether it is an incidental in response to the pandemic or an entirely new model for the education system. Online teaching. As we adapt to the new tools of presentation and the teacher-students community becomes conversant with the online system. But we may be missing few intermediate stages. The education system during pre-COVID times was already under reforms, with syllabus revision being the key component. Syllabus revision is an ever evolving process to update the knowledge and needs of the society as well as the nation. The recent drive of introducing skill-based input is in addition to the overall improvement of the teaching learning outcome and the integrating linkage from KG to PG. The syllabus thus needs to evolve in tune with technology, apart from contemporary needs of the society. A good syllabus expected to be futuristic and flexibly facilitate self-correction to avoid frequent revisions. As the syllabus revision comes into picture, developing interactive and illustrative textbooks is crucial for proper delivery and implementation of the syllabus. Adopting new tools and systems, therefore, should follow these intermediate stages of syllabus and text revision for all the courses across the stream. Besides this, the laboratory, field exposures, the practices are essential to most of the courses. Modus operandi is to be ready to incorporate these components into a new system. It needs an entire year for the educational institutions, colleges, and schools to develop such arrangements, infrastructure, and monitoring. Defining the components of the syllabus, designing suitable textbooks, and clear plan of implementation is a prerequisite. The present focus on adopting the online system is therefore premature. Now we focus on content. The outbreak of COVID-19 compelled self-reliance as a new global mantra. This is not only to cope up with the present socio-economic situation, but also to promote us from developing to a developed nation. It may take at least a few years to achieve such self-reliance, and the education system is the foundation for such a change. The other important aspect that has emerged out of this pandemic is the necessity of fundamental knowledge on hygiene, health, fitness, economic growth, sustainable development, skill development, nature, environment, etc. Therefore, it is essential to introduce these from KG to PG. While the higher education, that is PG to PhD, should delve on research and solutions such as shock-proof economy, disaster-proof infrastructure, advanced farming, self-reliant technology, etc. A long-term and flexible self-reliant educational plan outlined to integrate the education system with growth of the nation is therefore must, with syllabus being an instrument for such a change. Therefore, the current situation essentially demand a complete redrafting of the syllabus in all the sector, and it is not simply revision, updating or rescuing. While the syllabuses are instrument of change, the textbooks are the vehicles to carry such a change. Textbooks are the link between teachers and students. The trends, demands, and growth at the application level are generally very rapid, which creates pressure on the education system. At students' level, the education should become a pleasure rather than pressure, worrying about employability, changing demand, but rigid nature of the syllabuses. Individually, the human brains have variable rates of evolution, creating learning burden for many students, although it is easy for others. In multilingual, multicultural country like India, the socio-economic disparity is obvious. Hence, evaluation strategy should plan variable assessment and normalization is essential practice. To common entrance tests like JEE, NET, also they have to develop a great pressure. They are develop a great pressure on education system and its employability. There can be an intelligent entrance system to precisely identify the quality of individual, assigning perfect choices of career suitable for him or her. This will also help the rational distribution of workforce to accomplish the national goal, reducing the gap between the demand and the supply. The design of such exams should therefore be innovative, intelligent, and flexible to bring best out of each aspirant future citizens. This will increase the guarantee of employability besides education to become a passion. In the school syllabuses, there is no updated subject ever to tell different kinds of professions, choices of the career, earning and self-reliance. The present system therefore lacks to develop passion, creativity, pleasure of learning. The committee of experts, experienced teachers and educationists need to follow new national agenda of self-reliance. Apart from this national agenda of self-reliance, another important aspect is of the self-reliance of the education system itself. To clarify it, it is necessary to monetize the education system for self-reliant learning by students. The institutions need to find resource of funding for more number of scholarships, internships, self-earning activities for students, innovative integration with industry and other sources of funding is the key factor. The educational institute should come forward and handshake with industry, social organization and government agencies to make the syllabuses as well as learning self-reliant. The syllabus revision is thus a national task and needs intense involvement of entire academic community, planners and administrators industry, and IT experts. The COVID-19 situation therefore demand a complete revamp rather than retrofitting and recovering. It demands a new version keeping in mind the national, international scenario and long-term national plan beyond the limit of any time-bound governments. COVID-19 is an opportunity for a better future and a new country like India to develop as a developed nation. The academic year affected by COVID-19 embrace at least few more years ahead. The COVID and non-COVID comparison is unavoidable on competitive grounds of jobs and admissions. Several structural changes will be required in the educational institutions, schools, and colleges. The educational institutes, teachers, as well as students would need time to adopt the new developments of online teaching, examinations, and assessments. Presently, we are thriving on the tools like Zoom and need to develop indigenous tool and software to suit the individual stream and courses. This will need great help and time of IT industry. All the above aspects need a thorough discussion at the national stage, followed by intense action demanding an academic year of moratorium. Syllabus being the instrument, textbooks being the vehicle, and the online platforms being the media. Everything go hand in hand to draft future of the nation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for your presentation. It's
Thank you.
our pleasure to listen to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Now we are going to the discussion part. Professor Hussein, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Yes. Professor Hussein working in Istanbul Technical University, also director of the one private school. Maybe he can give some information about their work, please.
Thank you very much for your all good informations and your studies. Congratulations. As Shukri says, I am meteorological engineering, so I work about air pollutions in Turkey. By the way, I am manager of a high school. It is vocational training high school. We have three area, our students: maritime, electronics, and computer science. We teach students earlier age before the university, because in this ITU, as you know, Istanbul Technical University, if we believe that if we teach some basic treatments, basic vocational educations during high school, when they come to ITU, we can do more research with them. So thank you very much for all of you for new collaborations. We are ready. Okay, thank you very much.
Sağ olun hocam.
Thank you very much, Professor Hussein. We are working with him, very good project. I hope our collaboration will also continue to other colleagues. Yes, Professor Mustafa.
Hocam Ayşe hocam uygundur.
I would like to invite Professor Ayşe to say something in sustainable development for stage of the COVID-19.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ayşe Günsel from Kocaeli University.
Merhaba hocam.
Professor Shukri and Professor Mustafa for letting me to have the chance to speak with you. Yeah, it's about development. I think the main characteristic of the human being is the change and adaptation to the development. All kind of living things live, grow up, become mature, and die. But except human beings, they live the same life. What we differ is that we develop new techniques, we develop new technologies, and we adapt to the changing conditions better than any other living thing. This is what human being is. And as human beings, for the last 4 to 6 months, we have experienced a different term, a pandemic, COVID. We all tried a lot to adapt. As you are, I'm an academic too, and our education system just transformed into this education in a day with a decision. So we all have to adapt. What did this brought to us? What did this brought to the society? I think that the society, the business life was already in a change to Industry 4.0, but we have probably make this change to be much more quicker. We take the benefit of information technologies. Thanks to Professor Mustafa. He was one of the hardest workers about these IT technologies in Kocaeli University. I think that the pandemic is a kind of catalyst which quickens the transformation to Industry 4.0 or further Society 5.0, because what Industry 4.0 offers is the mobility, is information technologies, the location, place, doesn't matter, but usually the business life, the professionals were not so used to it. Professionals, I think, particularly the bosses, they wanted to see everyone at their offices, but the pandemic term showed that in order to work, in order to produce, in order to collaborate, the place is not important anymore. If you have internet connection, if you have mobile devices, you can work from anywhere. You can have education from anywhere. You can have a conference. You can give a lecture at home, while the other participants in Europe, in United States, or in other parts of the world is becoming much more and more globalized. We are like living in a little village now. And the pandemic process showed us that it is possible. It's possible to work at home. It's possible to study, to work at a cafe. It's possible to make meetings online. Maybe this was something well known, accepted in the different parts of the world, just like in America, people were used to that. But in Turkey, it was not so common. But I think Turkish people, as we are much more flexible, very flexible. We get adapted in a very quick manner, in a very short term. And when I talk to my friends, because not just professional work, we also started to make our coffee breaks, or personal meetings from Zoom or other online platforms. We started to talk that why didn't we use Zoom before? Because it was very easy. It changed us. This process changed us. I think that for both our personal and professional lives, we experienced the advantages of information technologies, of online platforms. And many things may change, but we will not forget this experience. And information technologies, online working, remote control will continue to take a part in our lives more and more, starting from this year, this age. This was a great catalyst, and I can't imagine what's gonna happen 10 years or 20 years from here, but I think that many jobs will be completed at homes or other places, independent from the location. And of course, we will experience more and more things, just like the rise of the artificial intelligence, automation, IoT, Internet of Things, industrial internet, etc., etc. And probably uh, 20 years later, our grandchildren will listen to stories like that. In the past, people had to go to offices, just like the dungeons and prisons. They had to go there. They had to spend more time on the way to go to the offices and way back to home, like a prison. But now we are free. Probably the offices will be just like a myth for our children or grandchildren. So I think that these years or this decade, starting from 2020, will witness dramatical change in business life, in human being, in social life. We had seen what really matters or what doesn't matter too. Age of transformation, a new age is coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Ayşegül. It was very nice to listening you. Good chance for us. Everybody,
Professor.
okay. Thank you. Is there anybody else going to discuss something about other presenters, someone else joining us? It was a good pleasure to see here. Also, I would like to thank all committee for the Imascon giving opportunity for us and for everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So nice to be here with you.
Yes, thank you. Mustafa, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for support.
Yeah, thank you.
I would like to say a few words if it's possible.
Thank you,
I want to say thank you for organizers for the invitation, and I'm very glad that we all meet there online. Were very interesting presentations. Especially, I want to say thank you to Professor Jill Patrick for complex analysis of situation in USA. It was a very interesting presentation. As said our colleague, that new age, yes, new generation, all will change around, and really, COVID really changed our life. And we'll see what will be, but we will hope for the better things. I wish you to all of you to be safe, to be healthy, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Maybe next Congress we will be a live Congress.
We'll hope. We'll hope.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Bye to everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mustafa. Thank you to everybody.
Thank you, please. Thank you.
Okay.
See you. Bye.
Thank you.
See you.
See you.
Thank you.